During the Amidah, if you were following the traditional liturgy, you would have crossed the words Kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. This week's double parsha, we're reading Acharei Mot and Kedoshim. And these parshiot invite us into a deep and layered exploration of what it means to live a life of holiness. In Acharei Mot, we're given the sacred choreography of Yom Kippur, the rituals, the preparation, the quiet, the awe. But more than that, more than the set of instructions, it is a reminder of something deeply human. The need to pause, to turn inward, to ask ourselves honestly, who are we becoming? There is something striking about encountering Yom Kippur themes at this point in the year. We're so far from the high holy days, and yet the rhythm feels quite familiar. And that's because, in many ways, the season of the Omer mirrors the same inner work. Just as the month of Elul before the high holy days gently nudges us towards the reflection, the return during the high holy days, the days of Or, and the Omer at this time offers us a daily practice of noticing, of counting, not just days, but qualities of who are we and who can we be. This week, as we count day 23, this Shabbat, as we count day 23, we find ourselves in the fourth week of the Omer, the week of Netzach, of endurance, of perseverance. And within that week, we're on the second day, the day of Gevurah, often translated as strength, discipline, or our inner resolve. If, before Gevurah, the strength, we encounter Chesed, which gives us the expansive love and generosity, then Gvurah is its necessary partner. It is the boundary that gives love its shape. It is the quiet courage that says, I matter too. Gvurah asks us to consider where we need structure in our lives. Where do we need to say no in order to preserve a deeper yes? Where have we given so much outwardly that we've forgotten to tend to our own inner world? In a faith that often celebrates endless giving, which is so beautiful, Gvurah reminds us that strength is not only about that endurance within giving. It is about discernment, about knowing when to hold back, when to protect, when to stand firm. And importantly, Gvurah is never meant to stand alone. It follows Chesed for a reason. Discipline without compassion can become harshness. Boundaries without love can become isolation. But when Gvurah is rooted in Chesed and Netzach, as we encounter this Shabbat, when our strength persistently grows out of a place of loving kindness, it becomes something powerful and sustaining. It becomes the ability to love others without abandoning ourselves. This is the journey of the Omer, a slow, intentional weaving of qualities that guide us toward wholeness, a reminder that holiness is not something distant or abstract, but something we build day by day through the choices we make and the values we embody. And so we arrive at Parshat Kedoshim, where we read, "You shall be holy," not as a command that feels out of reach, but as an invitation grounded in the everyday. The Parsha does not speak only of lofty ideals. It speaks of how we treat one another, how we conduct our businesses, how we care for the vulnerable, how we show up in our community. These are foundational things. Holiness, the Parsha insists, is not found in separation from our real world, but in deeper, more intentional engagement with it. Perhaps this is the message we all might need right now. This holiness that the Parsha speaks about is not perfection. In fact, it is the practice. It is the ongoing work of aligning our actions with our values, our koach, our strength, with our compassion, our gvura with our chesed. It is the courage to look inward and the commitment to step outward with integrity. As we continue this ancient journey from liberation to revelation through the period of the Omer, from fragmentation to wholeness, may we find the strength to set the boundaries that protect ourselves. May we build lives that are not just busy, but meaningfully so. Not only generous, but grounded and rooted. And in doing so, may we discover that holiness is not something we arrive at, but something we create together, one counted and noticed day at a time. Shabbat Shalom Ushalem, a Shabbat of peace and wholeness for us all. Good Shabbos. And with that, I think it is most fitting that we move now into the counting of the Omer, that we may count our days. You'll find the blessings that you can follow along on page 570. And we can rise as we count our Omer.